The simple truth is, David Bowie was magnetically, agelessly cool.
Through '84, I had the ride of my life. I mean, with the whole Let's Dance kind of thing, being shoved into, you know, that kind of out of a cult status into this kind of, you know, the new Phil Collins, you know. I mean, it was like, what is this? I'm on the radio, Mum.
Modern Love, another hit from his album Let's Dance.
And then 2 or 3 years where I really felt like... And he was lost in the wilderness with only his drugs for companionship. It really took me a long time to get back on my feet again and realise that what I really enjoyed doing was the creative process of making imaginative music, not reaching the expectations of an audience.
It all began at school outside London in the early 60s. At 16, he already had Careful Hair and a band.
I could count on one hand the people that were, you know, had started playing music that young in the school. It was pretty obvious that he had something very early on that was going to blossom.
The Gene Genie from 1972.
Being an artist, ever since I was a kid, the one thing I really wanted to do was to affect the medium. You know, that was, like, very important to me. And I think if you feel that you've contributed to the currency and changed it a little, that's really good for the ego.
This was the cover of his first album, simply called David Bowie, in 1967. Space Oddity followed in 1969 with its famous title song.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Translucent skin, great bone structure. Physically, there was always something otherworldly about Bowie. An old schoolmate did some of his early album covers. They'd fought over a girl at school, leaving Bowie with his left eye famously discoloured and dilated.
I knew David wouldn't fight me, and I just was so annoyed, and I just went like that, and you know. We made up and became friends afterwards, and he did say to me many years later that I did him a favour, so give him that interplanetary look, yeah.
The title track from the Ziggy Stardust album in 1972.
Ziggy play guitar, jamming good with weird.
The chameleon would change the colour of its skin to fit into its environment. I think I've done quite the reverse.
I know, like, when he was in the Ziggies, I know the Ziggy Stardust phase, I know he was the brains. He was the ideas guy, and he dreamt all that up.
Life on Mars from 1973.
I'd say what David's strength is, he's always making a movie, in the sense. He's like a director. He sees something, he's got a vision of a new kind of sound in a new direction, and he goes for it.
Nothing you have seen or heard about David Bowie will prepare you for the impact of his first dramatic performance in The Man Who Fell to Earth.
In the movies, it was invariably a great entrance.
Everything I've done for you. I move the stars for no one.
Just when you think you got him figured out, he comes out and completes. He's an actor, he's a musician, he's an artist, you know, and he puts them all together, you know, and does whatever he wishes, whenever he wishes.
As a teenager, he signed his name with the flourish of a born star, Davy Jones, the name he was born with. Bowie's greatest talent was always his voice and his ability to write songs for that voice. There were 27 studio albums in all.
I'm kind of greedy for something that kind of really sparks me off and gets me thinking. And one tends to find that on the outside of the mainstream, you know, because once you get sucked into the middle of the mainstream, it's tyrannical in there. It's despotic, you know, and I don't want to be ruled by that blandness, you know. There's nothing in there in the mainstream that I want in